Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Street Tips here, and here's our two silver jars. They've both been boiled, so all the excess nitric has been used up. What we'll do is filter that and then add that to my cementation bucket that's got copper in it and cement the silver out of that solution. This is from my recent video where I unquarted with gold-filled scrap. I said I was gonna add some silver to it and use the excess nitric, but decided nah, just go ahead and put a piece of copper in there and cement the silver out of that solution. This is my cementation bucket. This is cement silver that I have down in here. What we're gonna do is we're going to rinse all that liquid off in this filter flask. I always add 2 filters whenever I do this so that we don't break through a filter while we're stirring it with our glass rod. Add that 1 filter paper, and then I add another one over the top of it. And this will provide 2 filters for me. Strengthen it so when I stir the silver with a glass rod, it won't break through the filter paper. Now what we'll do is scoop some of this silver up out of this bucket, add it to the funnel here. This got our filter in it. This is silver powder. It's been cemented on copper. It's about, there's a piece of copper right there. Let me get that out of there. There's a piece of copper. Got another bucket over here. Put my scrap pieces of copper into. I'm using 2-liter filter flask, and what I do is use a glass rod. This is some distilled water, boiling distilled water that I used on a batch of silver here that I've already rinsed the blue liquid off of. And so this is the 3rd batch right here that we're working on. I'm going to use some of this water now to start rinsing the blue liquid off of the cement silver. Blue liquid is copper nitrate. And the more of it we get rinsed off here, the less we'll have in our impure silver shot that we run through the silver cell. Liquid pulled through. So now what we'll do is we'll take our empty bottle down here, hook the vacuum hose to it, take our funnel that has our silver in it, put it on the empty bottle. We'll set this up here. Now this blue liquid here goes into my little silver refining stock pot here. It's just a bucket full of copper, and what will happen in here is any extra metals that are in this solution that I'm pouring in here will cement out on those pieces of copper in there. This is the bucket that I use to cement the silver in. So what I'm going to do is pour this liquid, this blue liquid, into my silver cell, or I mean silver refining stock pot is what I call it. No gold refining waste goes in here, just the silver waste. Any remaining precious metals that's in this liquid that I'm pouring off will cement out onto that copper that's in there. Here's our cement silver down in our cementation bucket. I've got some boiling distilled water in this pot. What we'll do is continue to rinse as much of the blue liquid off of here as we can. Like I said, the longer we spend here rinsing the copper off of this silver, the less copper we'll end up with in our silver cell. Once I get all the blue liquid rinsed off, what I'll end up with is some chunky silver like you see right here. This is cement silver. It's been cemented on copper from the silver solutions out of my silver jars. As you can see, the rinse water has become a pale blue instead of the dark blue that we started out with. So now we'll put our silver funnel back up here on top of this clean flask. We're going to continue to add water to this. Boiling distilled water. This is our last bit of distilled water. So what we're going to do is go ahead and pour this through the silver. If you notice, the rinse water down here in this beaker now, or this flask, is getting a real light color, which means we've got most of the copper nitrate rinsed off of our silver. I've let the vacuum run and pull as much of the water off there as I could. And now what we'll do is we'll transfer this silver into this dish. This is a plastic funnel. There's our cement silver. Now we can take these two solutions. This is just hot distilled water that we used. to rinse the cement silver off, and I'm just going to add it to my cementation bucket because I need some distilled water in there to dilute the solutions that I'm getting ready to pour in there. We need those solutions dilute when we add the silver nitrate solution, otherwise it'll passivate on the pieces of copper and the reaction will cease. Once I'm certain all of the metal has cemented out of this blue liquid onto those pieces of copper in there, then the copper nitrate, the blue liquid, will get added to my waste treatment bucket that's full of iron. We'll cement the copper out of that solution onto the iron in the waste treatment bucket. This is the piece of copper that we've added to the liquid that we poured off from the gold refining, where we enquarted the carat gold with gold filled scrap. There's a little bit of silver in there, so we're just cementing that silver out. I've got some more silver nitrate liquid here that has a bunch of silver in it, so we'll add it to this beaker with our piece of copper in here, and this should provide a bunch of silver to react with that piece of copper in there. I promised Mrs. Three Tips I'd get this done. I've got a bin full of gold-plated scrap for gold recovery. What we're going to do is box it up. I've got a scale set up over here. I've got 2 boxes, flat rate box with another one box inside of it. We're going to get a weight on this. It's 1 pound 4 ounces. This is all gold-plated material that we've accumulated. I'm just going to box it all up in here. There's some pretty decent pieces of costume jewelry in here. It's all gold-plated stuff. We've taken all of the gold-filled and carat gold material out of here, so this is all just gold-plated material. Alright, there we go. Box full of gold-plated material. Let's get this up on this scale now. It looks like we've got 24 pounds. Take off 2 pounds for the shipping containers. So we've got 22 pounds of gold-plated scrap. And we'll offer this for sale on my eBay site. Now what we'll do is filter our solutions back in the back there that we dissolved the silver in our last video. Just going to add a filter paper to this funnel. Here's our silver that we dissolved yesterday. I'm just going to add that right into our funnel now. It's got a filter paper in it. I'm going to filter this solution. Let's see if I can pull this off without making a mess. I'm going to unhook the vacuum hose here. Now we're going to transfer the funnel to this flask. So far so good. This is our filtered solution here in this flask. Now we'll reconnect the vacuum hose and continue to pull the rest of this silver nitrate through that filter. Now we've got all the solutions pulled off of our silver. Let's get this out of the way. Let's go ahead and set a clean beaker up here. Now I've got some clean copper pipe that I'll set down in this beaker. Now we're going to add some distilled water. We need to dilute the solution a little bit before we attempt this reaction, because the highly concentrated silver nitrate solution will tend to passivate on that copper and the reaction will stop. Now what we'll do, here's our silver nitrate solution that we just filtered. I'm going to add some of that now to this beaker. I'm going to start cementing the silver out of here onto that copper. I'm going to add just a touch more water. Make sure we've got this properly diluted. And we'll give this a stir and get it all mixed up. Let me get my stirring rod out of here. Let's move this up to the front so we can see it. There we go. That looks better. While that's cementing in there, what we'll do is take a look at this. We've got all that silver pulled through this filter. Let's rinse it out with some distilled water. Here's the two solutions that we filtered out. I'll add those to my cementation bucket. Put some copper in there, get that cemented out. Here's the cement silver that we recovered today. We'll dry this out and then I'll add it to my collection bucket and get it ready to melt into shots so we can run it through the silver cell. Over here we've got some silver cementing in our beaker. Give this a stir. That's our pieces of copper in there. And there's plenty of silver. Just let that run. And last but not least, there's a nice reaction going on in there. Solution had a bunch of excess nitric in it. We're starting to collect some silver down on the bottom of this beaker. And what we'll do is we'll put a link to the gold-plated scrap that I'm offering for sale on my eBay site. This will conclude the video. Thank you for watching.